This was an opportunity for them to show their mettle for one of the toughest jobs in the world.
Standing toe to toe in a democratic process that brings candidates out of the shadows into the gaze of the global community. Candidates were split into groups of 5 each, covering a range of issues.
Challenges that are facing humanity in the 21st century are essentially global in nature. There's only one organization that we are going to have in our lifetime where we can hope to come together and address them decisively, and this is the United Nations.
Christiana Figueres.
An informal rotation process favors a candidate from Eastern Europe, but nominees from Costa Rica, Portugal, Argentina and New Zealand have also entered the race.
I belongs to a grouping for electoral purposes at the UN called Western Europe and Others Group. I'm from the Others. And sometimes I think WEOG should stand for Western European and Orphans, because my little country is from the South Pacific and it's never had a Secretary General either. So I really think that when we look at the scale of the challenges our world is facing, we need a global search for the best talent. This is a critical job, the best talent.
Argentina's foreign minister on whether the next Secretary General should name and shame countries who don't live up to their climate change commitments.
People believe that the Secretary General is the President of the United Nations of the world, and that's not the case. He is or she is just the Secretary General that serves 193 countries and has to have an inspirational leadership that gives the moral stature that for him or for her to move the agenda forward that has been agreed in these halls.
On what kind of leadership the UN requires.
In the modern world, communication is absolutely crucial. And a serious problem we have in the UN, like other international organizations, is that there is a kind of a cipher language that nobody understands except those that live in the organization. So what we need is to translate the many important initiatives the UN has, the many important things the UN does for the world, into a language that everybody understands.
Be very clear.
Costa Rica's candidate and the former executive secretary of the UN's Framework Convention on Climate Change highlighted her work at ushering in the Paris Climate Change Agreement, while perceived bias of international justice against African countries was also raised.
There are a lot of problems because the system is not perfect, but it's the best we've got. And I absolutely agree that instead of opting out or not participating in the International Criminal Court, on the contrary, as many countries as possible should join, and it will not be perfect. And I come from a country for which the Security Council has actually established a specialized tribunal to process the war crimes that were committed in my country during the war, but also by everybody who participated in the Balkan wars of the 90s. Was it perfect? Far from it. Was it better than not having it? Absolutely.
The next Secretary General will ultimately be selected by the Security Council, a choice that will have to be confirmed in a vote by the General Assembly. The first straw poll will be held on July 21st. Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.